Okay.
Sit back.
On one controversial night, the life of a doctor named Luke Matthew collapses when he loses the love of his life and at the same time meets his newborn daughter for the first time. It all begins with Luke and Jessica, an exemplary couple who are sweetly waiting for their first daughter. Luke is a prestigious obstetrician doctor who attends to different pregnant women with different ways of living on a daily basis, such as Sage Smith, a girl who attends the office alone after a long and exhausting day at work.
Señorita Smith.
She is relaxed waiting to see the evolution of her baby, but something terrifying happens when the Dr. Luke does not detect the little boy's movements.
I can't find the fetal heartbeat.
He immediately orders new studies to be done, leaving another doctor in charge of Sage's case.
We'll take it to the radiologist and we'll get a better look.
And you can't do it here.
Already with the results of her tests, Mrs. Sage receives the painful news that her baby is lifeless inside her womb, and she must be operated on quickly.
There's no easy way to say this. Your baby died in utero.
This cruel news has completely torn apart her mother's heart, which is one of the most intense pains a woman can feel.
I'm so sorry, Sage.
That after 49 weeks feeling the beating of her little heart day by day, she has to resign herself to not knowing him, not being able to hug him, or breastfeed him or watch him grow, or not being able to see how he becomes a man. Sad and desolate, she falls into a state of critical depression. Unlike Sage, the life of Luke and his wife Jessica takes place in an atmosphere of joy and happiness while waiting for their first daughter. But that night, after going out to have fun for a while, when they are walking down the street having a pleasant conversation, Jessica suddenly feels great pain and immediately begins to bleed.
Oh my God, it really hurts.
Apparently something is wrong and they begin to worry about her, for which Luke, without wasting time, takes her to the hospital.
You got me look right here, okay?
Once there, she is treated by Dr. Fraser, Luke's friend and colleague, but suddenly her situation worsens and they have to revive her, to no avail.
All right, feel for pulses.
With no other choice, and before it's too late, they decide to perform an operation to save the life of their baby.
We have 5 minutes to get this baby out or it's too late.
Luke, helpless from not being able to help Jessica, cries over his wife's body. He cannot imagine how difficult it will be to live without her and how unfair it will be for the girl to grow up without her mother. Meanwhile, in the other room is Sage, sad, depressed and alone, remembering her baby, trying to assimilate what happened. Days later, Luke begins a new life with his daughter Jessee. Bitter, depressed, all misaligned, not wanting to work, and still not being able to get over the fact of being a widower and being a father at the same time, he accepts in front of his mother, who is in crisis.
Hey, Mom, my wife died.
Keep your voice down.
Given Luke's refusal to hire a nanny to take care of the little girl and help with the housework, and added to the state of depression in which he finds himself, he has made his mother take drastic measures so that Luke reacts to life. All this makes her mother give Luke an ultimatum, and hire the person her daughter needs so much, since she is also affected by that sad tragedy for not having her mother's warmth and her father's indifference. On the other hand, Sage has not gotten over the loss of her son either, and with great nostalgia she looks at the photos where she is happy with Alan, the father of her baby. She also feels a lot of pain and anger at Alan for not being there when she needed him most. She finishes packing her things and once again writes a text message to Alan's cell phone, asking him to call her, without getting any response. Seeing her son sunk in his memories, Luke's mother continues trying to get him out of that state, until one day he decides to go back to work. His colleagues are happy to see him arrive at the hospital, but Luke is no longer the same as before. Now his pain is reflected in his face, and even in his way of being, who without alternating many words tries to get away from everyone and concentrate on his work.
Just buzz me when you're ready.
Later, when Luke is in the cafeteria, he realizes that Sage is there, the girl who lost her baby in the womb at 42 weeks of gestation. She approaches, but the conversation is not pleasant, since she reproaches him for not having accompanied her until the final outcome of that fateful day, since he was her doctor and knowing nothing of the tragic situation that Luke went through, she sarcastically tells him that she hopes he had a great time with his
My
wife.
baby that night. So I hope the date was worth it.
Luke asks Sage to agree to have lunch with him to explain what happened.
I want to try and explain.
Please.
Clarified everything, he takes her to her house to meet the little girl. Sage is delighted with how cute and beautiful she is. But due to those coincidences in life, it turns out that Sage already has experience in taking care of children, since she previously worked in a family well known to Luke's mother.
Sure, I used to work with the Daniels, actually.
It was then that her highly encouraged doctor offered her the babysitting job.
Well, I am looking to hire a nanny who would start immediately as a full-time living
Sage,
position.
very
Are you
excited
serious?
and without hesitation, immediately goes to look for her things in Luke's car, since she only has a small suitcase and an uncertain destiny that she has just resolved.
I just don't think it's right.
Luke's mother
having
takes
a-
advantage of the moment to tell her son that she doesn't like that idea very much, and she questions the way the young woman was dressed and the tattoos, and then she leaves. Meanwhile, Alan, Sage's boyfriend, tries to contact her, but to no avail.
Anyway, give me a call back.
The days go by in a very harmonious way, while Luke continues to care for his patients, leading a normal life again. But now the girl has someone who in one way or another has played the role of mother, giving her security and confidence. All like a family, they enjoy incredible walks that make the wounds of the past begin to heal. Although Luke has had so much work that lately he doesn't have time to dedicate to his daughter, contrary to Sage, who has devoted himself body and soul to caring for the girl and all the chores around the house. One night when Luke arrives from work, he finds Sage crying inconsolably with the ashes of her son's body in her hands.
Okay.
What happened seems unfair to her since she knows that she would have been a good mother.
I would have been such a good mom.
Luke and Sage grow closer as they share the same pain, the same guilt, and endless questions left unanswered. In the midst of so much pain, they decide to release the bodies made of dust, of the beings most loved by each one of them. It is a very hard moment for both of them, and their hearts break, while they cry with helplessness and sadness. Everything seems to be going very well. Luke apologizes to his colleague and friend for his estrangement with him and even tells him how delighted he is with Sage, and with a mischievous smile tells her that she can be his second chance at life. But when Catherine, Luke's mother, arrives at the house, a competition begins between her and Sage for the care of the girl, and then Catherine reminds her of the loss of her son and says many hurtful words, including the one that says that that girl is not his, and he immediately kicks her
Pack
out
your
of the
bags.
house.
You're done.
When Luke returns and finds out what happened, he gets very upset with her mother and reproaches her for her attitude, leaving immediately to look for Sage.
Where are you going?
Desperate, he tries to communicate with her, who is drinking liquor with her ex-boyfriend Alan, and at the moment when he has her cornered, Luke arrives and saves her. Catherine's words made Sage realize that she was right, and even though she loves Jessee, she is not her daughter, nor does she belong to her family. So he gives her time until tomorrow to think it over and come back from her. If he doesn't, then he won't stop her.
I won't stop you.
The next day Sage arrives at Luke's house. Her mother is still there, but with a different attitude towards her. Catherine confesses to Sage that she felt the same way she feels for her at the beginning of his relationship with his ex-wife, but at the same time, she recognizes that she made Luke study so that he was what he is today. She also accepts that he treated her like this because she is jealous of the love that both her son and her granddaughter feel for her, but now she wants to apologize to her and accept her as her friend and proposes a walk.
Go get dressed.
Meanwhile, Luke makes the most of the day with his daughter, giving him the opportunity to get closer and get to know Jessee more.
It's gonna get better. It's gonna be better.
Luke is surprised to see Sage and her mother arrive together and happy. He is glad to know that they have clarified things, so he promises that he will stay at home more time to share more with her and her daughter. And to keep his promise, he invites Sage to the annual OB/GYN banquet. Soon Sage strikes up a conversation with Kelly, the girlfriend of Luke's best friend, who apparently are having a great time. On the other hand, Luke's friend can't believe that Sage and Luke don't have a relationship other than work. Then they take advantage of the night to get to know each other better. Luke confesses to Sage that he still feels Jessica, that everything reminds him of her. Sage understands and supports him. As she tells him about her traumatizing relationship with Alan. Hearing all this, Luke and Sage share the same opinion that they should start a new life.
over. Clean slate, you know.
A year has passed and everything seems to have been left behind. It seems that the miracle of having a new opportunity is taking place and everyone feels happy again. One night, when they arrive at the house, they find Catherine lying on the floor and she is rushed unconscious to the hospital, where she is treated immediately. A while later, Catherine wakes up and quickly recovers as if nothing had happened, and very happy she gives Sage the wedding ring that she had saved for a long time.
And I want you to have it.
But Sage could not accept it, claiming that she still does not know her well, and when she leaves she meets Luke, and finally in a hug from her she confesses her love for him. Years later, Sage receives the miracle of being a mother, giving her daughter Jessee a little brother. This is the summary of a Christian movie called For the Love of Jessee. Click here and don't miss the following story.